This week, I am headed here to explore a mine and repair a cabin. This is a mine I found about 6 months ago when I was on a hike. And on that hike, I was headed somewhere else. But the mine was beautiful, the cabin was interesting, and I made a mental note to come back someday and look around. Well, that someday is here, so my goal this week is to go back there, fix the cabin up to the point where I could camp in it, explore these mines, and hopefully find some treasure. That's it, that's all. Take my map, and I'm gonna hit the road. So this mine is a decent hike away, but there is old structures that have all fallen down. So I am bringing just these items because I can't hike out with much more than this. So I'm bringing a lightweight hammer, a jar of nails. This is like a saw, some gloves, and some rope if I want to prop up an old wall. And all that will go into my backpack here. And I'll see what I can do. You know, no guarantees that I can make much improvements, but I'm hoping between this and then I'll use some, like these emergency blankets, maybe create a roof structure, and we'll see. What can I do with a jar of nails and a hammer? I mean, they didn't have much more than that back in the day, so let's give it a shot. All right, the sun is about to rise, so it's time for me to hit the road. I am going to dirt bike to the trailhead, and at the trailhead I will start hiking with my pack. But as you can see, sun's coming up. Time for me to go. Let's get after this. It's been over 14 months that I'm living out at Cerro Gordo now, and my adventures these days have two categories. There's the brand new places that I've never explored before, and there's the places that I've seen and just can't seem to get out of my head. And this week is that second category. It's a mine that I briefly passed by on a different adventures about 6 months ago, but didn't have the time to explore. And in the time since, I keep running into these stories about that mine and that area, its connection to Cerro Gordo, and I just can't get the stunning views out of my head. It's felt like a pending item on my mental to-do list, and this week I'm finally ready to cross it off. Because going back will give me a better understanding of that area, and that helps make my mental map of Cerro Gordo just that much clearer. It'll help me understand how all these pieces fit together. And that's why I go back. As I learn more about one area, I can better understand how it fits in with another, and that makes me want to go back and explore these past areas even more, just to solidify my understanding of everything that went on all around me. And beyond all that, I love this stuff. This is my version of fun. Some people play video games on their days off, others read books or play tennis, but I love to hike, to explore. It's something that I've really fell in love with over the past year, and it's basically what I want to do every day. It allows me to just escape into the beautiful nature around me and better understand this history that happened everywhere up here. So that's what I'm up to this week. I'm off to have fun and to better understand this history that unfolded all around me. So the adventure begins. I'm hoping today to get a nice hike, a nice mine exploration, potentially some treasures, and then a nice rebuild. It's always nice seeing kind of a cabin come back to life a little bit. And then finally, a nice overnight camp, which I haven't done in a little bit. And for now, just gonna sit back and enjoy this scenery. It was even more beautiful than I remember. The sun was just coming up over Death Valley National Park. It's that point in the day where there's still haze that just shows all the different layers of the mountains beyond you. And it's exciting, I was pumped to kind of have a day adventure. All right, almost there now. You can kind of see in the distance the tailing pile and the old scrap wood of a cabin that I'm gonna try to rebuild. Seeing it from this angle, I'm less confident than when I started today that I'll be able to rebuild it. But you know what? Let's get a little closer look. It's early yet. Got plenty of time today to spend a decent amount of time searching around. And so, with that, I shall continue my trek that away. Good way to start the day, huh? And good morning, here we are. There's two mines here, two mine entrances I should say. This is entrance number one. Look at that old, this tree laying across the top. Entrance number two is over here further. And that is closer to where the cabin is that I'll be hoping to restore is too strong of word. So I'm going to say, get standing once again, but let me show you what we're working with. So this is it. This is what we have to work with. Look at that cribbing for that old road. That's cool. And it would appear that this, oh, it's not that bad. You see there's a deck here, like an old floor, bed, wall, so stand this wall up again. That'll be a big start. But this wall kind of fell off the front, so that will be quite difficult. But I'm sure with a little bit of work, can make something happen again. You know, there's plenty of wood. Ooh, 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 ooh. Actually, that floor might have just fallen in. So this wall back up, this bed, because you can imagine, I mean, look at this view. If you're sitting and this would be the floor. Whoo-wee. So again, these are the tools I got to work with. I got the rope, which I think will be good to like lift back up this wall, you know, secure it. I have one jar of various size nails, a very lightweight hammer, this thing that's kind of like a saw, and gloves. That's all I got. I mean, there's obviously nails and stuff around that I can find if I need them, but I'm hoping that this is all I'll need. It's beautiful wood. It's just amazing color, and so I'm gonna keep supporting this. I think I am gonna focus on the floor as well to make sure this is supported, and even if there's only 3 walls, just to stop the wind. I mean, it's not gonna rain tonight. I'm obviously not gonna do the whole roof, so I'm thinking maybe just this wall, fix this floor, set up a really beautiful little spot here, because I mean, it'd be kind of nice just to be able to sleep under the stars since it's getting warmer out, and then be able to just look at that when you're waking up. So I think that's the plan. Secure this a little bit more, fix this floor, make sure, you know, I'm not going to fall through it, and then maybe start a little bit of barrier for the wind, but beyond that, we'll be doing all right. This is about as good as we're going to get for framing out that wall. I only have that weird little saw, but I'm going to try to frame out that wall first. Look at that, 2 walls now, 1 wall, 2 wall. Obviously I gotta clean up there with my saw, but that's a wall. You know, if I want to get fancy, obviously I would put tongue and groove in here to put the interior wall, but for now, the wind is blocked, and what once was nothing is getting to be a house again. I think after lunch, it's mine exploration time. There's 2 mines here, so maybe I'll give myself 1 mine exploration now, 1 after this other wall, and then set up a little room in here. Expansive views in the listing. I've been to this mine once before. If you remember on my hiking video, I came by here and I was able to just peek my head inside, and then I needed to keep hiking, so I wanted to come back and do a proper exploration. And today, here I am to do a proper exploration. And look how big this mine used to be. I mean, we're out in the middle of nowhere, but there's huge tailing piles, and there's this big machinery that would show that, you know, there's a serious operation going on here. This You know, this, even this old little tool shop that they have over here, which I think is interesting. Even has some of the old tools in it. So I'm excited to kind of go in there and do a proper explore. There's two main areas in there that I wanted to look at last time. There's a ladder going up that I think would be very interesting. And then there was the right side that I didn't have a time to go to because I kind of just snuck out of there. But all sorts of things here. Something for steam, I assume. But this is one of my favorite mines I've seen, just because of the remote nature of it and these views. I mean, it says 360 views of Death Valley National Park. You stand out here, it's just, you know, as far as the eye can see. And this is the mine. And this is what I love. Yes, I like restoring buildings. Ooh, that's a pretty straight piece. Maybe I'll use that later. But I really like exploring mines. As you can see, the timbering that they use to secure it is collapsing. So I want to be careful not to touch any of that. But yeah, this steam pipe or water pipe going all the way back. Look at this, see that old hand-cut lumber, square nails. So that gives you an idea of how old this mine is. And even this stuff is so cool. Some of the old track, like they used to use random pieces of wood that they would have to chop, chop, chop and put down in there. That again, just imagine how many cuts it took to create that. Oh, tons of lumber there. Yes, there we go. Ore chute. So this chute would be, you know, there's something above us that they're mining and then sending it down in these chutes. And then there used to be like a handle on the chute somewhere, and that would control it so it doesn't come out. And then the carts, as you can see, the track was here. So carts would roll up right underneath here, pull that piece of wood, drop the ore down into the cart, and then it would go on its way. And next to it, usually there's an access ladder up to wherever it's going. And as you can see here, the water pipe or steam pipe's going up there too. So there's definitely something going on up there that they're trying to, like, you know, route the ore from way up there down into this to go into the cart, you know, dump it in and then go out. So I'm going to take a peek up this way and see if we can't find something cool. Maybe we'll hold off on a second. Let me go a little bit further back first. There's still quite a bit in this mine. A bunch of dynamite boxes over there. So that's backfill. So basically, when they didn't feel like taking rocks out or they needed to crib up a wall to support something from falling, they would put the rocks in a wall like that. Above us, really old timbering, terrifying because there's very, very heavy rocks above that. So if that were to break, all the rock that's holding up would fall down. But you try not to think about those types of things when you're back in the mine. That looks like almost burnt. Huh. A lot of collapse in here. All right. I think this end is a little too collapsed. Headed up. Oh. Interesting. So you can see there's another ladder that's obviously going up further, and they're following what must have been a vein all the way up, because, you know, there's a view down the ore chute. So they're just kind of throwing stuff down there, trying to get it into the carts to get it out of here. So this goes quite a ways up, and then the pipe starts again. It's kind of freaky. So still following this water pipe up. It's kind of narrow, weird little, you know, horizontal climb. Oh, it looks like up there there's a stope. Whew. It's kind of steep. So that's interesting. Obviously they're cutting something out here, but the pipe keeps going up. There's little rags everywhere. That's an old, look at that. Oops. An old drill bit just in the side of the rock. Some storage area over there. Another dynamite box. Giant Powder Company. Keep that there. Wow, look at those rocks up there. Crazy little weird, like, sliver of rock we're in. That's crazy. I don't know if it's coming out, but look at all these crystals. This is just a wall of crystals. Like, see them? It's beautiful. See that? Crystal. That's a little secret for the next explorer. But yeah, these are tons of crystals in here. I wonder where this pocket was. Beautiful though. And I'm back kind of now in this weird crevice that keeps going up that way, but then it's kind of horizontal this way too. Huge crystals down here. Whoa. Look at this. Crystals everywhere. This is just a pile of crystals. It's crazy. People like crystals, they love this. Now, I want to go up there. What I think I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to use the water pipe as kind of my rope, because it's very steep. I don't think it's coming off on camera, but it's quite steep going up there. But I do want to go know where that goes. So I'm going to sneak back to where the pipe was, climb up that, and leave all these beautiful crystals. See back down where I was just coming from. So the water pipe is going down, 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 over there where the crystals. And it seems to go up. If you look, stops there with some shoring from the rock. And I wonder if that's either another level or potentially outside, because there's a little bit of air coming through. So that's where we came from, way down there. So there's dynamite boxes here. And if you look, that actually does lead, well, you can't see, but it does a little bit of light to the outside there. So I wonder if I look for this pipe on the outside, I can see where it's coming from. See the pine cones? Obviously because they're getting in, and you can see the air. I mean, I guess I could get up there, I could get out that way. Bunch of dynamite boxes. Ooh, this is tight. No way out this way. Super steep. Can't miss that step, so I'm gonna turn off my camera, make sure I can adequately get myself out of here. Headed back down. Quite narrow. Now we gotta switch over to the final bit of ladder. It's a workout. All right, well, I got my little fun break. Now I gotta get back to work. But rest assured that mine explorations are not done, because there's a whole nother mine here to explore. And I'm gonna do that after I finish my second wall. Let's re-emerge to the day. Hello again, Death Valley. I need this piece of straight wood, so let's take that. Start gathering supplies for the second wall. All right, that was a bit sketchy, but it's at least up for now. I'm gonna get some siding on this. You know, long term, this wall will have to come down, or not down, but it'll have to be moved down. So a lot of this bracing is just, for now, to give somebody a break from the wind and a break from the sun, and provide some type of gazebo type effect out this way. All right, now I think I'm just getting silly. So I wanted to support the span from this wall to this wall. So I found this tonguing groove and I started putting it up, but it kind of is like awesome, isn't it? Imagine like kind of slanted roof that way, slanted roof that way. That way you have like corners would have shade, you know, and look out. It'd be like a lounge, you know, shade, roof, then open in the center. But I like it, it's kind of cool. And there's tons of tongue and groove down there from the old floor, so why not? Let's give it a shot. And to those of you actually in the construction trade, I apologize. I know none of this is how you're supposed to do any of this, but you know what? I'm having fun. And I think when you're learning a new skill, that's really what it's about. It's just having fun. Because if you let perfection stand in your way of learning it, then you might never learn. Like even earlier this year, I never made a video in my life. And if I thought, hey, you know, getting behind this tripod is gonna be scary and I shouldn't do it unless it's perfect. So I think that's the thing, you know, I think if you're wanting to do something, get out there and try it. You know, if you wanna try to build an old shack, you know, all this wood would just turn into dust anyway. So there's low stakes out here. So get out there and try it. Have more fun, more experimenting, less focus on perfection. I love this place. I can see myself spending a lot more time in here. I gotta say, I am tired. Today started about 5 o'clock and it's past 5 now and I'm still kind of keeping after it. But I'm having a blast, you know. These are probably my favorite things, you know, seeing a building come back to life, having fun with it. I know this is not how you're supposed to build a building, but I think it's cool. Think of it as an art project more than anything else. Plus a little bonus mine exploration. Woo! What could be better? Well, maybe enjoying some turkey chili with beans MRE will be a little bit better. But this is awesome. All right, dinner's done. Time to go explore mine number 2 on the day. It's getting later. Breeze is picking up, so let's go explore. Let's get in here. Follow the tracks first. Whenever I go back in these mines, to me what it's like, it's almost like history has stood still. You know, I come back here, I just look around, and I look at stuff like, you know, this timber in the wall here. Like, that hasn't changed since the guy that did that put it in. You know, or even better yet, over here are more of these hand chopped ones, you know, that took hundreds and hundreds of little cuts to put together. Oh man, look at that. It's a stope, you know, all of these things were put in by people, obviously. And since then, they've just remained how they are, just waiting for somebody else to come along. And I think everywhere else, history can kind of be fluid, you know, buildings get added to, removed, remodeled. But these mines, when the miners left, they just left. And so it's one of the only places that I know of where it's like perfectly preserved. Look at that. Like, where does that go? That ladder is nowhere near stable enough to explore on my own. So I am not going to go down there. It doesn't look like it goes anywhere anyways. But, you know, back in here, it just feels, I just like to put myself in the shoes of the guy that cut that tree. You know, what was his hopes, dreams? And did he expect 100 years later for somebody to be prancing around in here? Now, there does appear to be stuff up there. You know, obviously, they were mining up there. You can see some timbering holding in some rocks. You can see some timbering holding in some really big rocks right there. But it almost like this is like a passageway up. So I could skirt up that way, skirt over, do a little bit of rock climbing and see if there's anything interesting up there. Look at all that. They're just like shoring up the rock. And these beautiful colors. It's remarkable. So as you can see, getting up higher, they really got this area stoped off pretty good. So I feel like I can climb along this ledge here and get over there. Might be able to get up there and see some interesting stuff going on. I don't know if it shows on camera, but this is like basically the side of a cliff. So I just gotta do a little bit of mountain climbing in here and hope to not go down there. All right, about halfway. Down there's where we came from. Or there's when I want to go. This looks like a little bit of a storage area. Could be a decent place to find some stuff. It's crazy how back in all these crevices they just hid whatever they could. Anything down here? Some beautiful crystal in here. Old bag. That might be silver ore right there, that black stuff. So there's still some silver back in this mine. Look at all that. These crazy colors in this thing. What have we got here? Back down to that level. Looks like we kind of got nothing on this side. It's crazy what people would go through for a living back in the day, huh? Just back here, mining away. Look at that, just like keeping rock up. That's beautiful. Probably more silver ore there. It's probably why they're cut out this whole stope. Just going after this stuff. Back to the big light. I'll give you guys a little better view of what... I don't want to do that. Safely back down from up there to the main level. And our... Oh. Jeez. The search continues. Look at this. Look at all that timber. He's just kind of... to the side. This used to be a big mine for sure. Look at all that color. I've gotten a lot more into the rocks since being up here. You know, first anytime I went into the mine, it was just about old artifacts, but now I really like to learn about the rocks. Like if anybody knows what this green is, it probably isn't even showing enough on, oh wow, look at this, hold up. How do I get there? It's probably not even showing on camera as much as it could, but this, look how blue this is. Like a whole wall of blue everywhere. There's a lot of cool rock in this mine. This might be a short expedition in the second mine of the day. Oh wow, oh man. Talking about pretty rocks. It almost looks like a blue zebra. What is that? There's air coming out there. That's a ventilation shaft. Yeah, I'm sticking with it. This is probably the prettiest mine I've been into to date. Like this wall. I don't know if that's coming out in the camera, but it's just pure crystals. Whoa. There's blue stuff too. It's almost like it's growing on top of the other rock. But that wall right there is just incredible. Crystals. Well, you know, mine number 2 didn't have too much to see as far as artifacts, but among the most beautiful rocks I've ever seen, which is a win in its own right to me. I find enough artifacts, but don't always find rocks like that. I've never seen that blue leopard print thing is crazy to me, even right here. I think that's silver ore. All right, well, let's go back outside and see the sunset. Ooh, looks like I am emerging at just the right time. Whew, look at that. That is going to be hard to beat. Wow. Let's go settle in. See some stars. When I was out here today, I had a lot of time to think, why am I so drawn to these old buildings? Why am I borderline obsessed with wood that's been in the sun for so long that has 12 different hues of gold in it? And I think it's because those golden hues is what makes it unique. Those imperfections are what make it beautiful, make it so much more beautiful than any mass market 2x4 I could ever get at Home Depot. And these signs of aging, of imperfection, is what appeals to me. And I think it appeals to a lot of people. That's why we have stuff like factory distressed denim or Instagram filters that make photos seem older than they actually are. Because we want all these things to have story, to have a uniqueness that isn't available in mass marketed stuff. And when I think about the beauty in these imperfections, this Japanese term called wabi-sabi comes to mind. There isn't an exact translation of it, but it's the acceptance of imperfections and the fact that imperfections and impermanence is what gives life beauty. And out here, when I see a building on its last legs, it's a reminder of my own impermanence, of time's defeat overall, of kind of the transient beauty of all things around us. And it's almost like I see a glimpse of the past, present, and future all at once. I wonder what the people were like here before me. I wonder what I can do with this space now. And I wonder in the future what people are going to do with this. And thinking about that impermanence and mortality makes everything a little bit more profound. It turns this from just a pile of junk wood to something important. And it's not trash. I think a lot of people watching this would agree. This wear and tear and imperfections is what makes these buildings beautiful. And I don't think I've perfected my wabi-sabi quite yet, because if I fully embraced impermanence, I wouldn't be out here trying to bring these things back to life. So why am I doing that? I don't know. That was too much for me to think about. Maybe I'll think about that over the coming week. But that's what I hope for you guys in this coming week. I hope you embrace all of life's imperfections, that you see that as the beauty in life, the joy, what gives life joy more than anything else. And until then, I'll be here pondering wabi-sabi and all of the things that come out when you're restoring an old building. So I hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you all next time. And until then,